first appointed Supreme Grand Chief of the Supreme Grand Council, Brother Emil Liel. Standing honor to our National Grand Chief, Brother G. Turner L. Standing honor to our National Assistant Grand Chief, Brother D. Anthony. Standing honor to our National Secretary, Standing honor to our National Chairman, Brother R. Everett. Standing honor to our National Secretary, Sister K. Jackson L. Standing honor to our National Treasurer, Brother D. Brother A. McCullen Bay. Standing honor to our Captain, Brother R. Goodman Bay. Standing honor to all chiefs and chiefesses, divine ministers, grand governors. Standing honor to Friday, the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Islam?
Islam.
And at this time, I'd like to have a reading of our divine constitution of dialogues. And therefore, I ask there be no unnecessary movement, no reading during the reading of the laws. If you have a cell phone, please put it on vibrate or turn it off. Islam? Salvation, our God, unity. The Moore Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, Act 1. The Grand Chief and Chairman of the Moore Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moore Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Chief is to assist the Grand Chief in all affairs and feelings according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known for the members of the Moore Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the circumcision and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in the flesh, and on a Friday, the first man and descended to his father God, Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. And 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, claim, and practice for all members of the Moore Science Temple of America. No members to put in danger, accuse falsely, brother, sister, on any occasion at all that may harm his brother, sister, because the law is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. So by being a Moorish American, you're part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the state government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they're part and partial of this said government, and know that they're not Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and last 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, when all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meeting and become a part and parcel for all acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep an eye on the necessity of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faith. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. Look at the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, bear doubts, and become a part of the office of the following man. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure of love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant from the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the God of his Father God, Allah. Islam, Noble Drew Ali, founder of Moorish American Prayer, the Lord's Father of the universe, Father of peace, freedom, and justice, Lord's my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his Holy Prophet Drew Ali. Amen. Moore Science Temple of America, Home Office, Grand Temple 13, 2522 Garrett Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21218. Islam. And at this time, I'd like to have a reading of our Quran, questioning additional laws with the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand chiefs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before acting upon by any member. Let it be financed properly on the line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finances, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer who violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet of Grand Chief. Act 2. All members are to attend and add that meeting to the public meetings promised. If a member is found standing around at the meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, be fined $1, which will go in your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid in saving the nation. And if he does not, he's an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I had the power invested in my hands, and now has the force of law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag, or speak radical against the church, or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings, send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise the 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school come the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they not Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopian, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and last 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, when all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay dues and keep in line for all access to the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. Look at the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, and deafness and become a part of the uplifting of following man. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant from the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the God that lives our God, Allah. Islam, after having a reading of both bodies of law, we read out of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the Noble Prophet Drew Ali, by the God of our God, Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from the sinful fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life of his Father God, Allah. On the page, we declare my intentions. So if there's any mistakes, it's on Brother K. Cunningham L., not Allah, nor the teacher of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam, know thyself and thy Father God, Allah. Dear readers, do thou Father use these lessons out for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Jesus. Jesus in this context means justice. Dear mother, teach you study to your little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear father, by these lessons you can set your house in order and your children will learn to love instead of hate. On to the chapter this evening for this week, which is found on page 40, Holy Instructions from the Prophet Church. Verse 5. He forgiver the enemy of men. He wipeth them from his remembrance, and malice have no place in his heart. He, for evil he returneth not evil. He haveth not even his enemy, but requite their injustice with a friendly aberration. Islam, when I look at charity, we know that charity is in the Holy Quran of Mecca, which we get our power and authority from. The five pillars of Islam. Charity, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the third or fourth pillar. And charity just simply means to stop being charitable. It doesn't necessarily mean that charity comes with finance. It could be a kind word. It could be, some assistance. That which the prophet teaches us is that we need to learn to love instead of hate. And it's very important when we look out in the world today. There's very little love, and we wonder, why, and they wonder why our children is the way that they are today. Our children is being killed and slaughtered, not just only by the hands of themselves, but the hands of the police. Just this week, I heard on the news where a young sister, you know, was shot and killed. I heard of their own brother, 27 or 23, in his car. I think this was in South Carolina somewhere. And he was shot multiple times. They say that they labeled it as a I can't think of the word at this moment, but they shot the car so bad, and he didn't even have a weapon. And now they trying to justify their wrong acts. See, it wasn't just enough that they found the officers who killed that brother guilty, but now it's like almost like a shooting spree. That means that we got a lot of work ahead of ourselves, and we have to protect ourselves and make sure that our children is not caught up in the crossfire with these officers that's so trigger happy. But one thing we have to understand is why the Bible teaches us that we must learn social, political, economic, as well as religion. See, and that's part of the political arena where they just think that they can do anything they want. And that's why the prophecy public is ungrateful and unstable, and it's being manifested right before our eyes. So how would I not know or believe that my prophet Noble Drew Ali prophesied what was going to happen today? He literally prophesied that the government was going to be divided. He prophesied that people was going to be killed and slaughtered in the middle of the streets at the hands of the unjust. And this is what's happening right before our face. So we have to ask ourselves whether or not if we with the prophet of Allah and the prophet Noble Drew Ali, or we're not. Islam. And at this time, I'd like to call our Grand Chief, Brother G. Turner L. from Father Instruction. Islam?
Stop. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Lord. Islam. Happy holy day to all the more. All praise be to Allah. As always, I want to give praise. I have already risen my thoughts. Above all carnal things, I want to give praise and thanksgiving to the great God Allah. I often say that I like to give substance to my praise in Allah because I don't want to just be going through motions, especially in this time right now that we're living in, because we're living in the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies.
Come on.
Sometimes some people look at the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies as a end of us all, the end of the world type of thing. But it's actually an end of the time that was in terms of how we've been living, of what we've been doing, and what has been made to be all right.
Come on, Mo.
See, that time is over with.
It's done.
That time where a certain way of thinking, a certain way of living is no longer going to be acceptable. So we're in the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies, and our prophet has prophesied a lot of things in regards to the Moors in general and to the world specifically as to things that were going to happen. A lot of them have already come to pass.
It's done.
Some have yet to come to pass. But we are living in that time right now. And for those of us who are holding on to the gospel plow of our prophet, that in itself should be something that we should be thankful to Allah for, to have had the opportunity to be presented with this option in this day of time that we're living with, and to have chosen this option to hold on to this gospel plow. See, because I know it's not an easy thing. See, it's not an easy thing to make this choice. There are so many things in this life that can be distractions to us to choose other things, to put other things before Allah.
Come on, Mo.
And his prophet. And what he told us what was good for us. You see, it's no different than when a doctor prescribes a prescription to us to cure us of an ailment that we may have. And it may require a regimen to do so. And sometimes we may get weary with the regimen, especially when we don't really feel or see immediate results. Because the time that we're living in right now, people are looking for instant gratification. Even though the time of the prophet, it was an article written in the Moorish Guide newspaper talked about this electrified age.
Come on,
and think about that. He was talking about electrified age in 1920s. Had they seen this time right now? What is this? This must be the space age.
Come on,
because
bro.
things are moving rapidly and real fast.
Yes,
So people want things real rapid and real fast. So sometimes it's easy to get weary when you don't see immediate results. And see, so when you step up off of that regimen that this doctor may have given you, and then you find your condition or your ailment starting to get worse. See, that's something like that fire that our prophet talked about that he's going to touch some of those almost coattails with.
Come on, Mo. That's right.
See, because sometimes we'll get weary with the regimen of obeying our prophet, right? And we'll let other things distract us. See, and in that distraction, sometimes that fire got to touch it. See, because the reality, see, when it comes down to it, the truth about what we are going through never changes. It is a comfort that can't be told in words. See, that comfort that can't be told in words is real. But the prophet never said that the comfort that we're going through that can't be told in words is our excuse for not trying. He never gave it to us as an excuse. He let us know so that we can be ever vigilant of this conflict in the enemy that we have within. So I praise Allah for the knowledge of these things. That even though those times we're feeling weary, during those times of getting tired, that I can look at what my prophet has brought me and grab tighter to what he has brought me. Stay the course. And at the very least, do those basic things that he told me that I could do. That in doing those things, I can gain the strength to overcome those greater things that are yet to come. And my personal conflict that can't be told in words, because we have to be tried in this. We have to be tested in this. in order for us to become that strength of Allah made manifest.
That's right, Mo. Come on.
We have to. There is no way of getting around it. You can't go under it, you can't go over it, and you can't go around it. You have to go through the fire.
Come on, Mo.
You got to go through it. So I praise Allah on this holy day that what my prophet brought me is that water and going through that fire.
Come on, Mo. That's right.
What he brought me. And how is it the water? By obeying his word. And it's being where he say I'm supposed to be at.
Come on, Mo.
See, I'm telling you, Mo, sometimes we think that the prophet is just telling us to do some things because he has some kind of ego and wanted to be in charge. Man, what he brought us was for the generations that were yet to come that he wouldn't see with physical eyes. He wouldn't see them with physical eyes. He brought this for us here right now. And he's not here with us in a physical form. But he's still with us in his spirit.
That's right, Mo.
And that spirit of his is guiding us.
Come on, Mo.
If we just obey, if we just follow, I give praise to Allah and honor to my prophet, who is due much honor.
Islam.
And I often say, I give honor to my prophet for being an obedient servant of Allah. The highest title that one can have is a servant of Allah.
That's right, Mo.
Think about it.
That's right.
Sometimes we get caught up in earthly titles. Grand Sheikh, Supreme this, Supreme that. Those are titles of responsibility. And carrying out the responsibility, one is a servant of Allah. If you're just sitting in it and holding it, you're just a title holder. And yet worse, because you don't took on this responsibility, if you're not carrying it out, don't worry about hearing Brother Turner L's mouth. What do Allah have in store for you for being in the way?
Islam.
Huh?
Islam.
See, that's a question you need to ask. You need not avoid my phone calls. You need not worry about not answering my texts and all of that. Don't let that be the least of your concern. What do Allah have in store for me for saying that I will and then I don't? I give honor to the forerunner of the prophet, Brother Marcus Garvey, another great example of the character of the upright Moor Shammai. Even though he called himself something else, we understand about those things, words, It wasn't his job to come and teach us nationality. He came to teach us race pride.
That's right, Mo.
See, because the prophet said that he would carry on that message. He said that if you have race pride, love your race.
That's what he said, Mo.
Showing more signs to
And
he also said that if you think your conditions can be better. So there's some prerequisites to joining the movement.
Right.
See, sometimes some people join thinking that, well, I'm already smart, I'm already doing good. Maybe I can go here and make it better. Don't necessarily have race pride and love their race. Only thing happens is you get in the way. Only thing happens is you cause confusion. Only thing happens is you come in trying to change what the prophet brought. If this wasn't true, then how do we get to standing in the prophecy right now, the United of the Moor Science Temple of America? How do we get there? See, the prophet already knew you was coming.
Islam.
See, he already knew you was coming and coming here and try to move his furniture around. He already knew it.
Come on, Mo.
But he knew that the faithful would see through that foolishness and see where everything was supposed to be put at and put things back in place.
Islam. That's right.
I give honor to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Supreme Grand Council and Grand Sheikh of the Moor Science Temple of America. I want to make some clarity about this, but I think that sometimes what has happened is that we look at the title of Brother Emil here as Supreme Grand Sheikh as the highest title that he had in terms of the organizational structure, but it wasn't. He was the highest official on the Supreme Grand Council, but he was that Grand Sheikh that's in Act 1 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaw.
That's right.
See, this is what brought this organization, this Moorish nation into into existence.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the grand sheik. He was the leader of that Moorish nation. Not in being supreme grand sheik. That was some other stuff.
Right.
See, but what we don't understand is that all of it that took place during that time was teaching us today how it's supposed to go and how it was supposed to work. Sometimes we get caught up on the character, not knowing that everybody had their role. It's like during the time of Jesus. Jesus had a role. His role was crucial. Huh? He had to play the role. So the role that he played was crucial, and it also was a lesson.
Come on, Mo.
Because sometimes we can make our mouth say all kinds of things until we're offered something that's shiny. Huh? We're offered something that we're really in love with, and then we're off doing something else. But those things are lessons to us to look at ourselves and examine ourselves each and every day. Where am I really at along this road? What do I need to work on to get better along this road? I give honor to the National Staff United the Moorish Science Temple of America, to the Supreme Grand Council, to all governors, to all grand governors, assistant grand governors, grand chiefs, assistant grand chiefs, to all members. Special honor. More important than all those titles, I give honor to the faithful. Because I know it's not easy. I know it's not. See, never, ever, ever, ever forget this. Irregardless of what you see or what you perceive about a brother or a sister, right? And what you see them do consistently, know that even in that consistency, there is struggle.
Right.
Because we all have the most important things in common. That is a higher self and a lower self. We have them in common. And that person that you may be looking at, that seems to always be at the meetings on time and all that, that person got to go through some stuff sometimes to do that. At other times, it's at ease. It's at ease for them. But either way, there is a struggle in it. Because like I said, the society in which we live in does not in any way support or encourage us to live this way of life. It just doesn't. The society in which we live in, the larger society in which we live in, that we all go out and we work and we go to stores and we do what we do. That society encourages us to disobedience to this. Friday in the society is looked upon as a day for party time. Most people get their little paycheck. After most of their money done left out their pocket and went out the community that they live in, the little money they got left, they gonna go party.
Come on, Mo.
They gonna go get themselves a drink. Some might go get themselves a few blunts or whatever, and try to forget about the fact that they had to work all week for that little bit of money, and they had to work all week for that little bit of money, and that most of it's gone, and they don't want to remember it, so they want to pass out for the rest of the week. See, the society encourages these things. It encourages us to living that is not good for us. You know, so it's an honor for one to be faithful on this path with everything that he or she faces in the course of a day, sometimes in the course of minutes. Especially, I know boys like to say, the grand shit, y'all like to talk about social media, but man, especially if you're a social media addict, oh yeah, you got people addicted to it. They got to always check they got to always check their notifications, see who said what, look at what they talking about, what they trying to say. Is they talking about me? Who responded to my post? Who, you know? So it becomes even more difficult to travel the path because social media is a wide open field for people to be whoever they want to be. And rarely is it being themselves. Most times we come to social media with a face on.
With a mask.
With a mask. You know, so like I said, I want to get honor to the faithful because I know it wasn't easy. I know it was trying. You know, but the fact of the matter is that what Allah put in us, it makes it possible for us to overcome that struggle each and every day. And as he said to us in the chapter on religion, he said that so kindly has he united our duty to our nature that obedience to his precepts, to his law, is happiness to ourselves. See, we have to get past that stage of illusion. We have to get past that stage of indoctrination. See, we got to get past all of those things. See, it's no different than a person who thinks that you cannot enjoy life without being intoxicated in some shape, form, or fashion.
Come on, Mo.
And so this person goes about life that way, approaching it. You got to be under the influence of something to enjoy a movie. You got to be under the influence of something to enjoy a companion. You got to be under some kind of influence to enjoy a family gathering. You got to be, and they live their life this way. The only problem with it, the prophet teaches us that which permanently delighteth must be permanent. And the things, and the problem with things that are of intoxicating nature is that they're not permanent. You don't, the feeling of it does not last. Even those who say that the weed smoking is okay, and I'm not bashing nobody for what they do, but the euphoria that you feel from smoking the weed, it doesn't last. So you got to keep on doing it. So you're seeking a permanent feeling in something that is temporary. So it's like a dog chasing his tail.
Come on, Mo.
Wow.
You ever seen it?
Come on, Mo.
Have you ever seen a dog chasing their tail? You can look at them and say, that's crazy. What's wrong with the dog? You be wanting to talk to him. You can speak dog language. Like, look, man, that's your tail. Why? It's all right. Leave it alone. That's the person that's trying to seek a permanent delight in something that is temporary. See, the problem with it becomes, because it's going to cost more than it's worth.
Islam.
If you have to engage so much time in it that you start realizing you start neglecting other things.
Mm-hmm.
So some people may say, well, what you know about that? Well, I don't know about it.
Been through it.
Huh? I speak on what I know.
Come on, Mo. Islam.
Yes, sir.
So it's like this person who thinks this way, and then by a rude awakening or a spiritual awakening, whichever kind of awakening that it takes, right? They wake up to the fact that, listen, I'm spending too much time, too much money, and my body is getting too torn down, trying to seek a permanent delight in this substance that I'm chasing behind to make me feel a certain kind of way. I need to leave this alone.
Mm-hmm.
Then after a period of time, they'll get angry with themselves because they realize there really is life without those things.
Yeah.
That life really is enjoyable without it.
Yeah.
That I really can enjoy someone's company.
Mm-hmm.
That I really can enjoy a movie. I really can enjoy a family outing. I really can function on a day-to-day basis without it. And you're like, man, I wasted all that time and money on foolishness.
Come on, Mo. Islam.
Not realizing that the euphoric feeling that I'm trying to get is already inside of me. I said it earlier that we're trying to find a quick way to get there. We want to duck the fire. See, because sometimes we be chasing these feelings to escape from the realities of life when they're not meant for us to escape from. They're meant for us to go through them and to come on the other side of them.
Come on, Mo.
So when we come on the other side of them, we can look back and help our brother or our sister come through that same fire. Let them know, don't be afraid. It's all right. It's not going to consume you. When you come on the other end of that fire, it's going to purify you, and you're going to find yourself with less weight than you had before you went through it.
Come on, Mo. Islam.
That's why in the chapter of the Holy Quran we're taught that fear proclaimed, behold, I sit unrivaled therein. Therein where? In the heart of man. Fear is next to vanity. And vanity is beyond them all because you completely lost when you caught up in vanity because you can't even see yourself.
Come on, Mo. That's right.
You can't even see it. But fear is a potent enemy as well. Because fear will keep us imprisoned, enslaved, and stuck, afraid to move forward. So some people come to the awareness that, man, I wasted a lot of time chasing feelings. Wasted a lot of time chasing feelings. Not knowing that I am a creator and make my own. Heaven or hell. See, because at the end of the day, even in an unconscious state, that's what we're doing.
That's right, Mo.
Nobody wants to go to hell, right? Just that everybody don't know how to get to heaven.
Yes, sir.
And then a lot of times what's happening is they trying to find a shortcut to it. But this ain't one of them destinations that you can pull up on Google Maps and show you how to get there quickly. There is no shortest route.
That's right.
You got to go straight. And you got to keep going straight, regardless of what's in front of you. As you are standing here on the straight way, you got to go straight and deal with whatever comes, how it comes. Sometimes it's going to seem as though it knock you down, but it's all right because it really hasn't. See, those things are illusions, and these illusions are meant to cloud your judgment and make you question your past. The test that Jesus went through when he went to the temple, each one of them was about a principle. The prophet tells us about establishing principles unto thyself and see that I ever act according to them. So when Jesus was questioned, those principles that he established rose up in the face of a test. And he was like, oh no, I see that one for what it is. See, when we get to that point of seeing things for what it really is, we keep on going. It was often said, man, that destruction of all those things in our life, those things that can destroy our life that seem to be pleasurable, they are thoughts. See, because the lower self, the carnal self, is a body of desires. What is a desire but a thought? Right? It is a thought.
Islam.
Throughout the Holy Quran, we are taught that this lower self is really a thought. It is a sluggish thought, but a thought all the same. It can create mental images in our mind of things being great if we follow behind it. What did it say? It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye, pleasant to the smell, but whose cores are full of bitterness and gall. It is the one who strives to know well their higher self that can see the bitterness in the core of those things. Get back to that person who think that they got to be under some kind of influence all the time. See, the wise can see to the core of that. He can see. Ain't nothing but bitterness in that. I'm a pass.
I know that's right.
I'll pass on that. Thanks for sharing. That's some people like to say. Right? I'll pass. See, because I understand what's at the core of it. Having said all that, praise the Lord. I'm gonna read from page 3. Know thyself and our Father God Allah. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons there for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Jesus. I just want to read from the chapter. Chapter 32. Holy instructions from the prophet Charity, which is another timely chapter in this holy month of Ramadan, because one of the things that is emphasized that one practices for those who are unable to participate in the fast is that they are to practice what is called what? Zakat. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about sacrificing of oneself. And as the assistant national chairman said, it's not always about giving money.
That's right.
See, charity can be in many forms.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes charity can be, you can extend charity to one who don't even realize that you're extending charity to.
That's right. Come on, Mo.
They may not realize until next year.
It's not. That's right. That's right, Mo.
They may not realize that you gave them something more valuable than any amount of money that you can give them.
That's right.
Sometimes you can, as we are told, to teach a person how to fish.
Mm-hmm.
You keep giving them $1 here and $1 there, and you get something. Look, I'm gonna show you how to get your own dollar, and you will always eat.
That's right. That's right.
Charity,
Islam.
right?
That's right.
But I just want to say this in closing. I'm not gonna hold on. We have a lot coming up in the coming weeks, and there's a lot of work to be done. One of the things that I was thinking about today, and like for the last couple of days, is that Prophet Ojuru Ali told the Moors that he established a nation. He actually performed a ritual that we all know about now, in the wrapping of 2 young children in the Moorish and American flag.
Right.
And that ritual signified the birth of this nation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The questions that we have to ask ourselves is that, where are we at along the way in establishing or bringing this nation into a reality, into a fact, or building it to where our prophet visioned it? Where are we at? See, one of the things the prophet talked about is about us having a grand treasury as our forefathers did. He said, then you are a nation until then you are nothing. What was he talking about in that? Well, one of the things that I draw from that is that he's talking about having your own stability, being stable, and being able to do the things that you need to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things that any self-sustaining nation or community must have control over. It must have control over its own food source.
Mm-hmm.
It must have control over its money.
Mm-hmm.
It must have control over its education of its children.
I know that's right.
See, those are 3 of the important things.
Mm-hmm.
Food, of course, it must have, be able to clothe itself. It must be able to educate itself. And it must be able to finance the building of its own nation. It should not have to be going to anybody else to get these things. So let's ask ourselves, where are we at along the way? And we'll see what it is that we need to work on. See, because as long as we're trying to get a grant from somebody, as long as we're trying to get a loan from somebody, as long as we're paying our money and out to bills that's going to somebody else, as long as we're relying on someone else for our food, as long as we need someone else for our clothing, then we have a lot of work to do.
Mm.
We're just talking this. And we can't continue to just be talking this and think that our people are going to come and join us in this We had to let them know from the door what are our plans to establish this. And we can't be looking at one person to establish or come up with the plan. Because it's not a one-person job.
It's not.
See, it's all of our responsibility. That we all should be looking at it. See, because when we see the picture, when we see this picture for what it really is, then we'll stop worrying about somebody else's title. We'll stop worrying about somebody else's responsibility, and we'll work in our lane that we're in, because we realize that it takes each and every one of us to get this done. See, at the minimum, we should have a farm by now. At the minimum, farming our own vegetables, herbs, and spices. Come on. We have more than doing that from at home. So why are we not doing it on a larger level somewhere? Because part of our problem is that we still got those stumbling blocks inside of us. Brother made a good point today. I remember a while ago, somebody had sent this video out. And this guy was talking about one of his neighbors that was of the Hispanic community. I don't know, so sometimes we want to call everybody Mexican, and all Hispanic people are not Mexican. But you know what I mean? The brother one of his neighbors was from the Hispanic community. So he had brought, well, actually he wasn't a neighbor, he had brought a house. Old raggedy house. Brought the house. So he bought the house. So he talked to him. And he said to him, well, what you plan on doing with the house? So we're gonna fix it up. He said, we who? At the time, he didn't see nobody but him. He said, we're gonna fix the house up. He said, so he seen this guy start bringing materials, drywall, 2x4s, piping for plumbing, wiring for electrical, all this stuff. He's bringing it to the house, So he was working in there at night, framing up, starting to frame up. So he was saying something, man, this guy actually gonna try to do this by himself. He said that weekend, about 5 trucks, pickup trucks, pulled up. A bunch of his friends.
Yeah.
Not family members. Friends. Pulled up. And they had their bed, all that little stuff they like to do with their little boom boxes and stuff, like, unloaded that stuff and went in there and worked all night. And so he said he had to ask him, he said, were they contractors or who was that that came? He said, no, they were my friends. They came to help me get my house together.
That's it.
I would ask really one of us can ask ourselves, when the last time you seen us do that? Without wanting something. When the last time? We had roadblocks in the way that prevent us from making these things happen. And in our temples, in our study groups, in our Sunday school class, we have to deal with these roadblocks. See, we got to stop speaking abstract. We got to get to the heart of issues that is hindering us from getting where we need to go. We have to be honest with each and every one of ourselves of where we are at along the way and getting to where we need to go. See, we got to stop having petty issues with one another that hinder us from working together. Something may have happened ages ago, not knowing whether that brother or that sister has grown since that time, not knowing it. And it will hinder us from progressing together and working together. Because until we get to that point where we can really, really work with each other, man, we just talking this thing. And for one, I've been doing this talking for decades now. And I'm tired of talking. And I don't really want to be around more than just want to talk. Because I done heard it all. Even with a lot of this foolishness that's going on today that more is talking about, distracting your minds on all kind of foolishness. And this is another manifestation of the foolishness I've seen in the past.
Mm.
All of it has the same objective, to stagnate us and to keep us from getting anything done of any real substance. Here's a question that we have to ask about any great idea. How does it contribute to our salvation, both earthly and divine? If we can't answer that question, then maybe it's not something that we need to invest our time and energy in. Because if it can't benefit us all, if it's just benefiting you, then that's your plan for your benefit. Where are those Moorish leaders that think for the nation? That's who we need. We've already had the ones who wanted to be in the front seat of things. Notice the setup tonight. The prophet is in front where he's supposed to be. Signs and symbols for men to understand it, men and women to understand it. Put the prophet out front. Let the people see him. He told us to raise him up, and he would draw all men unto you. So he told Meliel to raise him up, not Meliel raise himself up.
Come on, Mo.
We give honor where honor is due. Don't mean we don't honor our brothers and our sisters putting in that word. So I give a special honor to our Supreme Grand Chief. Well, I give honor. This brother's been my teacher for years and has been out front. He has phased himself in the background and doing work in the background and not concerned about being seen. See, those are the qualities of one that's truly faithful to this thing.
Come on, Mo. It's now.
And so what that teach me, look for who's up next. Who's up next to lead us where we need to go at. And you can't be talking this thing. Islam?
It's not.
Leave as I came to peace.
I'd like to thank our National Grand Chief for a timely lesson on our Friday on our holy day for all my all over the world. Islam?
Islam.
And at this time, salvation, our God, unity, more signs, temple of revival, prophet over to our league, the divine proclamation, January 1929, prophet one all my government order to read the proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members they must send all radical agitating speeches while they work and on the street. With peace and not destruction. Stop blasting your card and your opinions and cause confusion. Remember your card is for your salvation. Fail to obey these orders to be fail to obey these orders to be severe consequences. With love, to peace, freedom. When those principles are violated, the system will take its course. Any member who remembers over this bill towards the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid out for them by their prophet. They lose confidence in the prophet, just return the card button, cease wearing the turban or fast, and return to the state where the prophet found. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet over to our lady. The prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is therefore sending out divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is the everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of the prophet over to our lady. Peace. Home office, Grand Temple 13, 2522 Garrett Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21218. Islam? Islam. And at this time, this is where we lower the meeting. Are there any announcements?
Islam. Next Friday, May 7th, at 7 p.m., we will be having our first public holy day meeting in a while at 5525 Harford Road. All those who are in the Baltimore area are welcome to come. We'll be using this location for our holy day meetings twice a month, which we will be having one the weekend of May 23rd. For all those who understand what that's about. Islam.
Islam.
for our family that's online, I'd like to thank you all for joining us on this holy day. I said we will be, Allah willing, we will be broadcasting next week, but it will be from the public meeting location. And with that, I bid you all peace and love.